Marsh and Milton on a Monday. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. At Marsh and Milton, at TSN 1150, TSN1150.ca. It is time for Take Two as we wrap up your Super Bowl weekend. First on Take Two here, the Broncos are now Super Bowl 50 champions. John Elway did an incredible job creating this team. You could argue he won the Super Bowl in the offseason 2 years ago when he acquired veteran pieces for his defense. Aqib Talib, DeMarcus Ware, others. He will have his toughest work ahead of him yet, though. There are a ton of unrestricted free agents available. Vernon Davis, Von Miller, Brock Osweiler, Ronnie Hillman, Jordan Norwood, who had the 61-yard punt return in the Super Bowl, Brandon Marshall, middle linebacker, Danny Trevathan, linebacker, C.J. Anderson, running back, Brandon McManus, kicker. Question is for you, Louie. Outside of Von Miller, who they will use the franchise tag to keep, who is the most important re-sign this offseason for John Elway, with CFL free agency hitting the books tomorrow at noon? A pertinent free agency question.
You almost want to say DeMarcus Ware, just because he's got that veteran leadership in him. And just with Von Miller, who's pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean, at
2011
his
draft
position,
class, second overall pick.
Yeah, so 25, 26 you would say he is right now. So, I mean, he's not that young. He's probably just hitting his prime right now, which is great. But you kind of almost want that more veteran presence. So if I'm going to pick someone, I'm going to say DeMarcus Ware, just because he is that future Hall of Famer that you want on his team.
It's not bad, but you're wrong.
McManus, because hey,
everyone needs a kicker.
Everybody needs a kicker.
Gotta knock down those triples every time you get your foot on the ball.
No, fine. Why am I wrong?
Brock Osweiler.
Oh, well,
he's an unrestricted free agent.
Oh, you didn't mention it in the
I did.
Oh, my God.
I put him right on the list.
Yeah. Oh. Who do they need? They need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, clearly.
Peyton Manning is going to retire. Brock Osweiler. Let me have my piece. Brock Osweiler. It's not easy to find a quarterback that can play at this level, regardless of how well or poor they play. It's not a good draft class for quarterbacks this year. There's a couple of freaks that might turn out to be something, but I don't think there's any true automatic number one studs. The highest drafted guy, probably going to be Carson Wentz, 4th overall to the Cowboys.
No way they were going to let him walk away anyway.
Oh, I know that, but I just think he's so important to be able to bring back at this point in their franchise development. Second for you here, Denver Broncos defensive coordinator Wade Phillips, at Son of Bum,
38
on
years.
Twitter if you'd like, tore up the dance floor at the team's Super Bowl celebration party. TMZ Sports has video of the 68-year-old dancing and dabbing the night away, as one does after you win the Super Bowl, at the Grand Nightclub in San Fran. He also sent out a tweet, which has since been deleted, which read, "A little dab will do ya. Too much dab will undo you."
Hey, we've all been there. I mean, we've all been there.
Put the phone away, log off. It's fine. The question is, yay or nay on Wade Phillips partying like it's 1999?
Hey, good for him. This guy is a guy who's been in the league forever, literally forever. Where did he
38
start?
years?
Houston Oilers.
Yep.
We're going back to 1976.
Under his dad?
As defense, like that, and those are good teams to have played, like to been with. You know, the Denver Broncos. He kind of left like right before.
He didn't have a job last year.
Denver Broncos, 93, 94, and then the Bills. He suffered with the Bills. Come on, 95, 97 as the defensive coordinator. This is a guy. Dallas Cowboys. Speaking of DeMarcus Ware, he was with them. He knows the struggle. Like if it's gonna happen, good for him. He's probably not gonna
have that much success over the next
38 years.
I agree with you.
I can't work for anything 38 years and not get that ultimate reward.
I love that he was able to let go and have fun, and yeah, maybe the tweet was a little bit jabby. I mean, when coaches go after players and player celebrations, that to me is a little questionable, but I will say...
He deleted it, though.
I know, and I think that... Well, so did Bill Romanowski, and that doesn't remove him from any guilt. I do think, though, that when you have somebody who's taken that long to have success and that had that kind of looming over them their whole career because his dad was a very successful coach, that you have the opportunity to have almost like a carte blanche. You have the white card, and you can get away with anything.
To be fair, Bill Romanowski didn't know that the term boy was...
Oh, my God.
We have time for one more. Probably not for the music, though, so just hit it
I'm just going to run the music anyways, and then you can cut it whenever you want. Carolina quarterback Cam Newton was criticized for his lack of grace in defeat after he walked out of Super Bowl 50's postgame press conference.
When was the last time I was a sore loser?
After barely answering any questions. That's not the question, but we can turn it into that. However, it appears Newton may have had a valid reason to walk out and leave the room. Less than 20 feet away, as we said earlier in the show, was Broncos cornerback Chris Harris Jr., who was loudly going off about how great the Denver defense played. The question is, did Cam Newton have just cause to to get up and leave that media
100%.
scrum. There's a lot of layers to this. How does a player interact with the media? What are their responsibilities to the media? Do they have any? How do they interact with other players? What is the NFL's responsibility to separate players from a winning and a losing team in the same room in post-game scrums? But I agree with you. The look on his face as a guy who was sitting 15 feet from an opponent he had just lost to in the most painful moment of his career to date, because there will be worse, and he'll realize that and he'll grow from it. But in that moment, to see him have to sit there and listen to that guy and how loud Chris Harris Jr. was being, he knew. And so that's why I think it's okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback for a long time, so I don't think anyone really cares.
Let's big finish it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is quitting time.
What did you learn today?
I learned that Tom Brady actually doesn't consider himself among the all-time great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He said, I wouldn't put myself there. I think there's some incredible players. He said Joe Montana, Steve Young, even Russell Wilson. So he's not...
He did not say Russell Wilson.
He mentioned it in the answer. He said, then you watch Russell Wilson play, and you can never imagine someone could get out of situations and make plays out of nothing like Russell Wilson. And then you watch Cam Newton play. You're blown away by the different styles. So
okay. All right, Tom.
He doesn't think he's...
whatever, Tom. You suck. We get it. You're humble.
The GOAT emoji.
What I learned today, Thomas Davis played the biggest football game of the year with an arm that looked like a football from the Wilson factory in Ohio. What you missed, Saturday, Jamal Murray of Kitchener tied the Kentucky Wildcats record for most points by a Wildcat in the Calipari era. Julius Randle also had 35 in 2011. What you need to know, a source close to Tom Thibodeau, who used to coach the Chicago Bulls, will remind you, says that the Knicks are the job he has always wanted. Quote, he would crawl to Madison Square Garden, unquote. That's not desperate at all.
That's Phil Jackson calling, be like, hey, $100,000 a year, maybe?
Yeah.
If you're not desperate for the job?
Maybe take a massive pay cut and help out the organization. What to watch tonight? Lots of hoops on tap. Raps, Pistons. Louisville versus Duke begins in about 4.5 minutes on TSN2 and is followed by Texas versus Oklahoma. Top 5 NBA draft pick this June, Buddy Hield, is on Oklahoma. Check that out.
Don't change that dial.
You know why?
The Mike Tyler Show.
Coming up next, right here on TSN 1150 Hamilton. Twitter and Facebook is at Marsh and Milton. I am at TSN_Marsh, and we drop the puck on Tuesdays. Marsh and Milton in 21 hours, as we just mentioned, between now and then. Don't touch that dial. The man with the plan. Mike Tyler is in next. The Mike Tyler Show begins now. Enjoy, everyone.